Hello and welcome to the 13th episode of Emma's Advent Calendar. I'm so happy to say today is Lucia's Day in Sweden, or as we say, Sankta Lucia, or just Lucia, like it's Lucia. And we celebrate this by singing a lot of carols and having some like a kind of bread cookie. Bread cookie? Do you call that? I don't know. But it's a cookie, but a bread, but a cookie, but a bread. And and gingerbread and a lot of sweets. And mostly we just sing, I think. and have this little warm wine with spices called glögg. And a lot of things happen in Lucia. And the children dress up like little gingerbreads and little Lucias and little Lucias like followers called tärnor in Swedish. And we often sing in the schools. We have this Lucia firande, Lucia tradition celebration in the schools where the children sing for the parents and dress up, and it's really, really cozy. And it's really, really dark first, and then Lucia comes with her lights, and it's beautiful. I just love it. And I love the idea of someone bringing the light into the darkness. I think that's a great story. But first in the program is the jokes. So I'm gonna see what kind of jokes we have here. And the first one is by JH5, who wrote to the Daily Mail. They brought Jesus presents of gold, frankincense, myrrh, and silver, but I think he would have preferred wrestling toys. Maybe. What do you call it when you act ecstatic to see distant relatives and acquaintances that you only see around the holidays? Seasonal affection disorder. From Bob Morris from the New York Observer. That's all for the joke part, because I have quite a few things to say about Lucia today. So please stay tuned for the next parts of this episode. And the next part of the program is to read some poems for you guys. And the first one is by Annabelle Sheila, published in December 2008, and it's 2 letters to Santa. I wrote a letter to Santa to make sure he would know. It's only 2 weeks until Christmas, and we still don't have any snow. Just didn't want his reindeer to have to work too hard. I was afraid they might get stuck in the mud outside in our yard. I mailed my letter on Monday, only 2 days ago. As I dropped it in the mailbox, it slowly started to snow. It's been snowing ever since, more as each day goes by. I'm getting kind of worried now that Santa will think I lied. I'll write another letter and mail it off today. Tell Santa not to worry, there'll be lots of snow for his sleigh. I think it was kind of cute. It was actually written like it was actually from a child, and I like that you have to take another person's perspective and write a poem through that lens of looking at life. And it was quite appropriate, the first verse in this poem, I think, that there's still no snow. And where I live, there will probably not be a white Christmas, though. But if I lived where I used to live, it would probably be a white Christmas. So I'm thinking definitely of moving, and have been for some time now. The next one is by, let's see if I have read this. No, I don't think I read this before. It was by Elaine P. Keefe. It was published December 22nd, 2018, and it's called Santa's Gift. The laughter of eternity's children resides in the glint of his eyes, and his joyous laugh, which surrounds us all, leaves an echo that never dies. The goodwill he sows so generously, wraps us warmly in the blankets of cheer, and the words that he speaks bring great hope and joy to small angels far and near. To see a child's hopeful excitement as he rests upon Santa's knee, or the look of wonder on her face when she encounters the magical tree, overwhelms my heart with tenderness and brings me lightness of mind. Santa is here to spread his gift of peace to all mankind. Quite good, I think. Next one is by... well, I think we'll skip that one because it's so long. And that one too. Okay, I think that will be it for the poem part. So please stay tuned. And now it's story time! Christmas in Sweden is the subject, since this article is a lot about St. Lucia's Day, or Lucia-dagen, as we say in Sweden. Or just Lucia. It's Lucia. Christmas in Sweden. Around Christmas time in Sweden, one of the biggest celebrations is St. Lucia's Day, or St. Lucy's Day, on December 13th. The celebration comes from stories that were told by monks who first brought Christianity to Sweden. St. Lucia was a young Christian girl who was martyred, killed for her faith in the year of 304. The most common story told about St. Lucia is that she would secretly bring food to the persecuted Christians in Rome, who lived in hiding in the catacombs under the city. She would wear candles on her head, so she had both her hands free to carry things. Lucy means light, so this is a very appropriate name. December 13th was also the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year in the old Julian calendar, and a pagan festival of lights in Sweden was turned into St. Lucia's Day. St. Lucia's Day is now celebrated by a girl dressing in a white dress with a red sash round her waist and a crown of candles on her head. Small children use electric candles, but from about 12-year-olds, real candles are often used. And I can tell you, this is very difficult. You need to use like a cloth over the head, and you should water the branches that surrounds the lights, and yeah, it's beautiful. You should see it. A tip of mine: dress as St. Lucia for Halloween next year. Okay. The crown is made of lingonberry branches. We call it lingon, just lingon, lingonbär branches, which are evergreen and symbolize new life in winter. Schools normally have their own St. Lucias, and some town and villages also choose a girl to play St. Lucia in a procession where carols are sung. A national Lucia is also chosen. Well, yes, but it's not that popular anymore because it celebrates beauty in a way that is, not coherent with the idea of St. Lucia that much. So, and also people in Sweden are less and less focused on looks. If you talk to a regular person in Sweden, so it's not that much. It was more like a beauty pageants in the old days, but now we kind of despise beauty pageants in Sweden, since it's too shallow. Shallow, yeah. Okay. Lucia also visits hospitals and old people's homes singing a song about St. Lucia and handing out pepparkakor, which is ginger snap biscuits. Small children sometimes like dressing up as Lucia with the help of their parents. Also, boys might dress up as stjärngossar, star boys, and girls might be tärnor, like Lucia but without the candles. Well, actually, they have candles, but it's one candle and they carry it in their hand. A popular food eaten at St. Lucia's Day are lussekaats, or St. Lucia Day buns, flavored with saffron and dotted with raisins, which are eaten for breakfast. Well, mostly for breakfast, but actually we eat them all day long. But some people like them, some people like saffron, some people don't like saffron. We actually have kind of lussekaats without saffron and even without raisins. And me, myself, I prefer without saffron, but with cardamom instead. And that's also a Christmas spice. So, I've always eaten lussekaats without saffron, but with cardamom in them instead. But they are shaped the same way. It's like they are oftenly shaped like an S with curls on each side, like a rococo ornament. A rocaille. So just so you know, okay, I'll continue reading. St. Lucia's Day first became widely celebrated in Sweden in the late 1700s. St. Lucia's Day is also celebrated in Denmark, Norway, Finland, Bosnia, and Croatia. Maybe that's why I've always been drawn to Bosnia. No, I don't know why, but people often think in Sweden that I'm from Bosnia. I'm not. I am, however, interested in the language, and I don't know why that is. I just think it's interesting. I can say merhaba, which is also kind of like the Arabic way of saying hello. I can say kakose, which is like how are you? Dobro, which means good. Yeah, I can say several things, but I don't understand Bosnian language, but I will maybe get there someday. Who knows? In Denmark, it is more of a children's day, and in some part of Italy, children are told that St. Lucy brings them presents. They leave out a sandwich for her and the donkey that helps carry the gifts. Oh, there's a St. Lucy's donkey. Maybe I should buy a donkey now. Maybe I should introduce a new tradition in Sweden and have some unicorns instead of a donkey. I don't know. And we will bring even more magic to Christmas time. I don't know. Okay. I'll continue reading. On the first Sunday of Advent, called Första Advent in Swedish, many Swedes will put their Advent candles and or an Advent star in windows of their homes. Yes, I do that. Traditionally, the Advent candles are 4 candles set in a box, which is decorated with greenery. Not always greenery, often like moss and berries, but they are often made of like plastic or anything like that, or well, not textile, but stone materials and other stuff. And I actually don't have that anymore, or just sometimes, some years. You can also have more than one. And the thing is that you should just light the first candle at first Advent, and then it burns a bit, and then on the second of Advent you turn on the second light and end the first light, so it levels up kind of to the fourth light. But many people just like light them at the same time and just watch them burn down. But that's not actually the correct way in my view. Just so you know, what I use for my Advent candles box, we call it adventsljusstake, and it's very confusing because also the Advent stars, Advent candle stars things in the windows are also called adventsljusstake, but it's not the same thing. So yeah, we have the same word for 2 different things actually. It's quite funny. What I use, again, in my box with the 4 candles that I light for each Advent, I use I have this like porcelain figurine shaped like a heart, and which have some holes for it for 4 candles, and around those holes I fill it with kind of decorative stone material. I've used silver gray, like sand, stony thing in the bottom, and also I have some glittery decorations like stars, hearts, and snowflakes in silver and white. Maybe I'll publish a picture of that in this video. I don't know. Okay, I'll start reading again. 1 candle is lit on each Sunday during Advent. The custom came from the German Advent wreath. Often now an electric stepped candle display is used instead of real candles. Well, that's the thing, right? What I was talking about is 2 different things. Sometimes they use electric candles as well instead of real candles, but it's still 2 different things. But it means kind of the same. Yeah, it's hard to explain really the differences, but I hope you get it. Advent stars were first made in the 1930s from red paper. The stars normally have 7 or sometimes 9 points and are about 30 to 45 centimeters or 12 to 18 inches across. They have holes in them and light is put in them, now a light bulb usually, so the light shines out. The stars are hung in a window to remind people that wise men followed a star to find Jesus in the Christmas story. The stars are often now white and might be made of straw, wood, or metal, as well as paper. Well, it can also stand on a foot, like a lamp foot. And they can actually be of any color. They are purple ones, they are pink ones, blue ones, all kinds of colors. Black ones with silver ornaments, not ornaments, but silver, like ornamentation in them, I should say. There are all kinds of things, all kinds of sorts of Christmas stars or Advent stars for each taste, I would say, in Sweden. So just to choose the Advent star, if you have one of those, it's not you often choose either the adventsljusstake or the Advent star in the window, and some have both, but I mostly choose just to have the Advent star, not the Advent star, just the adventsljusstake in the window. But they are really beautiful and they light up the windows, especially in Sweden where it's really dark. It helps also to like light the streets, actually. I always put mine off when I go to bed because I don't want to take too much electricity from the world. It's an environmental thing and also a safety thing. Next part is Christmas Eve is also very important in Sweden. This is when the main meal, really a feast, is eaten. This is often a julbord, which is a buffet eaten at lunchtime. No, not at lunchtime. That varies a lot from family to family, I would say, so that is not actually quite correct. It's a buffet, but we also have it in restaurants all over Sweden and hotels and things. Like it's everywhere. And you eat until you burst, kind of thing. That's the tradition. You eat until you burst. That's the end of it. And we have cold fish is important on the julbord, yes. There's often herring served in many different ways. Gravlax, which is salmon, which has been cured in sugar, salt, and dill. And smoked salmon. Herring and salmon, that's the most common ones, yes. Other dishes on the julbord, but that's not actually the most important ones, I think. And that is not what I eat on my julbord. Other dishes on the julbord might include cold meats, including turkey, roast beef, and most importantly, julskinka, a Christmas ham. There are cheeses, liver pate, sometimes salads and pickles, well, sometimes. Most people don't Sweden don't eat so much salad because it's so much meat stuff and potato stuff and things. Pickles, I'm not really sure I've seen that one, pickles. But we do have like red beet salad in like, not in mayonnaise, maybe. I don't know what's in it. Mayonnaise and some kind of cream. Yeah, it's really tasty though. And we also use like custard a lot. Yeah, and different kinds of bread and butter. They will also be warm, savory foods. And this is the main course, actually, in my view, including meatballs and prinskorv, which is small sausages. For me, without the ham, without the meatballs, and without the prinskorv, it is no Christmas. That's the most important thing. And some potatoes. Some boiled potatoes. Not fried, boiled potatoes for me. But it's not actually the tradition to have boiled potatoes. It's the tradition to have another thing, which I will read for you soon. Kåldolmar, which is meat-stuffed cabbage rolls. I don't see that a lot on Christmas julbord though. Jellied pig's feet. Ooh. Yuck. Yes, that is occurring, but it's not very often occurring on the Christmas food table. Lutfisk, which is a dried cod served with a thick white sauce. Well, it's dried, all right, but you boiled it so it gets really, 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 really soft, and like it just like melts on your tongue. I love lutfisk, and actually the lutfisk doesn't really taste that much. It's all about the white sauce to get it perfect and to mix it with some boiled potatoes. It's so good. And then sometimes we also have revbensspjäll. I love revbensspjäll, but not on the Christmas table. I ate them when I was like 2 years old, and all the spices were like all over my face when I came home, and yeah, I looked quite funny, like I had a beard or something, because I gnawed on those revbensspjäll like a hungry wolf, which is oven roasted pork ribs. We also have like vegetables such as potatoes and red cabbage will also be served. And another potato dish, which is the most traditional one, is Janssons frestelse, which is matchstick potatoes layered with cream, onion, and European sprats, which is a small fish, that is baked to a golden brown. I don't like that one, I should say. All my family does, I don't. It's really weird. There's also one thing called dopp i grytan, which means bread that is dipped in broth and juices that are left over after boiling the ham. Very long time ago, there was a famine in Sweden, so we used everything, and fat was a luxury and something we used to get a lot of energy and keep ourselves warm in the winter. The dessert of the julbord might be a selection of sweet pastries, some more pepparkakor biscuits, and some homemade sweets. There are lots of Christmas candies in Sweden. Sweden is really known for being obsessed with different kinds of candy, actually. So if you haven't tried some Swedish candy, it is amazing. Another popular food at Christmas in Sweden is risgrynsgröt, which is rice porridge that's eaten with hallonsylt. Well, not that much hallonsylt, maybe. More like lemonade jammy sauce thing in that case, but mostly it's with cinnamon and milk, actually, and some extra sugar, of course. Swedes and their sugar, it's a must. It's often eaten during the evening after people have exchanged their presents, and we also have this tradition with a little bit of what's it called? Mandel? Kind of a nut. Or a raisin or something. And if you find that one, you get a wish. But you're not supposed to tell what you wish for, or it won't come true. It's like with a birthday candle, you know. If there's any risgrynsgröt left over, when it's cold, it can be mixed with whipped cream and eaten with a warm fruit sauce. Well, yeah. This is called ris alla malta and sounds rather yummy. Yes, it is. But I actually prefer only risgrynsgröt and milk and cinnamon and sugar. It's so good. Presents are normally exchanged on Christmas Eve. People often go to church early on Christmas morning. No, actually, no. That's not correct. People, like maybe 20% of Swedish people go to church. No, actually, maybe 20% of Swedish people are Christians or religious in any way. Most people in Swedish are atheists or are doubters, you want to say. Some of them just like go to church for tradition and not for like religious reasons, at least. So that's not actually true, though. False, incorrect. So yeah, that might be a fun fact to know about Sweden, that most people are not religious in Sweden, and or even have faith in any kind of deity. But there are also like Muslims, there are Hindus, there are like, it's like America kind of. We have kind of all sorts here. But the most prevalent thing is to be atheist, kind of, and put your faith into science, you can say. And actually we have kind of a problem with people looking down at religious people as if they're stupid. I don't think that's at least always the case. Some people are stupid whether or not they believe in a god or not. It's just the way it is. Well, actually, I think if you were to, like, let's just say that I'm intelligent enough to know that we are really stupid, actually. There's so much, like, lacking in our intelligence, I think. Sometimes it's marvelous, but I think that most people, including myself, are stupid, kind of, and not really intelligent life on Earth. Well, we do a lot of amazing things, but I think if to count as an intelligent species, it should be better statistically, and there are a lot of stupid things happening around the world, so and a lot of stupid ways to think amongst people, and yeah. So I'm not trying to say that all people are stupid, but actually I am. All people are stupid, okay? Even the intelligent ones are stupid. Not stupid maybe, but not as intelligent as we might want to think, I would say. Yes, that's the correct way I want to say it. We are not as intelligent as we want to think that we are. Okay. And I wish I was a bit more intelligent myself. I'm not stupid though, but I wish I was even more intelligent, but not on the cost of my empathy and sympathy for people, because love is the most important thing, I think. Another popular and important thing that many Swedes do on Christmas Eve afternoon is to watch Donald Duck, and I've already talked about this one, so well, I'm gonna read it anyway. Every year since 1959 at 3 p.m. on Christmas Eve, the TV station TV1, or actually SVT1, shows the Disney special From All of Us to All of You, or in Swedish it's Kalle Anka och hans vänner önskar god jul, meaning Donald Duck and his friends wish you a Merry Christmas. About 40 to 50% of the Swedish population stop to watch it. Like, everything stops. Silence, it's Donald Duck. But you may be able to sing along. So, like, dum da dum da dum dum. I actually think that statistics might be wrong. I think many Swedish people are afraid to admit that they actually watch Donald Duck and his friends when they are grown up. I think actually it's more popular nowadays with old children, you know, with grown-ups like me, than with actual children. There's just too much information nowadays, kind of that ruins the specialness of things. Like their neighbors in Finland, there was a traditional belief in Sweden that a Yule goat was connected with the midwinter festival. In Sweden, it was thought to be an invisible spirit that looked on and made sure all the preparations were going well. Between Christmas and New Year, men would sometimes dress up as goats and go from house to house singing songs and playing tricks. This is known as julbooking. Julebooking. You go julbooking. Now the goat is mainly seen as a straw ornament which guards the house and Christmas tree. Straw is used as a decoration in homes to remind, and actually in trees as well. It's a handcraft thing to remind them that Jesus was born in a manger. Christmas tree decorations that are made of straw are also very popular. In the city of Gävle, a huge straw goat is built every year for the start of Advent. It's 13 meters tall and takes 2 days to put up. It has a large metal structure on the inside and is covered with straw. The tradition started in 1966. The first Gävle Yule goat was burnt down on New Year's Eve, 1966. And ever since, it's been the target for vandals. In its 50-year history, now it's 2020, and I can tell you that I think it's since 2018 it has not been burnt down. And there are some theories in Sweden, for fun, that says that because we don't offer the Yule goat, you know, we had offering traditions for the gods in Sweden quite late, and along the way with Christianity's entrance into Sweden. And many joke around and say, because we don't burn this goat, we now have bad luck. And that's where the pandemic comes from and everything. This is our fault. We haven't burned the goat. We haven't offered it to the gods. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. I don't think it is.